Could you imagine if at the start of the season we'd somehow got a little glimpse into the lineups for the Champions League final and you see John Stones in midfield, you'd be going, oh, come on, Pep.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not again.
You're watching a clip from the Football Ramble podcast. For the full episode, search Football Ramble wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes out Monday to Friday. For now, enjoy this video.
29.
Yeah.
How'd that happen on my watch?
I know what you mean.
29. Get fucked. Get lost.
Is he older or younger than Theo Walker? But finally, I remember when he used to be called the Barnsley Beckenbauer.
Yeah.
He got that nickname.
Very much living up to his promise and that title now, I think.
Which is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's because I think this is kind of happening a little bit with Trent Alexander-Arnold now as well. You see players where you think, oh, maybe they could play in a different position, and then they just never do. But in both of those examples, they've moved into roles that people have perhaps thought they had the skills for.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to see it actually come to fruition.
Well, certainly for an English defender, because I remember Rio Ferdinand, who was obviously quite good on the ball, people thought he could move up into midfield. And it was tried a couple of times, and it didn't really quite happen. And obviously, very different.
Remember, Carragher played for midfield.
Yeah,
played
right.
for England.
Yeah,
he did. Yeah, and whereas Stones now, obviously, Stones is playing in this Man City side, so it's a bit different when everyone else around you knows what they're doing and they can do it extremely well. But I mean, what position was he playing during that final? I mean, at times it was right back, right wing back. He said himself he played as a number 8, and I think that is the incredible nature of a Guardiola team and the system. And if you can get it, you don't actually have to be one of the top players in the world. I mean, clearly top players are usually they're there because of their quality and also their intelligence. But the intelligence of someone like Stones, and also like Jack Grealish, we joke about him being, sometimes wonderfully
thick.
Okay, I was trying to be a bit more PC, but fine. But on the pitch, again, you look how he's adapted to this system.
Yeah.
You cannot. Question their footballing intelligence.
Oh,
absolutely. Something we don't often recognise.
When the teams came out about an hour and a half before kickoff. I looked at 3 different apps, and they all had different formations, and the differing part of the formation was where Stones was.
Exactly.
I mean, could you imagine if at the start of the season we'd somehow got a little glimpse into the lineups for the Champions League final and you see John Stones in midfield, you'd be going, oh, come on, Pep.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not again.
Carl Walker on the bench.
He did do the thing he always does. He just gave it a bit of a test run, and it worked out. So credit to him.
Well, the defensive setup, of course, Carl Walker wasn't there. So he did do a little tinker, but it was much more measured, though. It was much more understandable.
When you've got Haaland, who isn't a player who's going to just be working back, you need an extra player in there, and that's who he was, just another guy.
Yeah,
but he was a good guy.
But what was the thing Pep said to all the
29-year-old guy?
There you go. But what did Pep say to all the broadcasters when he was interviewed? Because you can always find footage of them all. What was he? Imagine I would love it if he said different things to everybody. Well, of course, we've been working on our forward play this season. Well, it was all about the defence this season, but he said consistently, which of course he would say, is the thing that they've got right this season that perhaps they hadn't in previous seasons, even though they've won loads and loads of trophies, is that he talked about the defence. He said, at the back, we are solid. And he talked about using often 4 centre-halves at the back, or at least 3. And that's John Stones has been very, very crucial, of course, and some of the other players as well. And it's interesting to him to talk about how they've worked on that defence, because you always think of the attacking flair in the midfield and the this, that, and the other, but defensively they were very, very good. Did you see Julia Roberts on Instagram?
This is great for Pep.
Fucking turncoat.
No, I think this is great. It means that they've completed football now, right? Maybe they'll just go away now. Maybe Pep's got everything he needs.
She congratulated Pep on
You were the weakest one in Ocean's 11. The storyline totally irrelevant to the main crux of the...
Surely it was Ocean's 12.
No, she was in Ocean's 11.
But
She
when she got
played
really
Julia
involved
Roberts,
in
didn't she?
Ocean's 12.
Yeah, because they felt bad, because you're like, you know what, you're really shit in this. I actually really like her. I can't even stomach this.
Well, if in case anyone
what it
has
is.
missed this, should we do a little recap of why we're talking about Julia Roberts in case anyone missed it?
No.
No?
Sure.
Fine.
She once went to Old Trafford or something, and Pep was like, when you come to the Etihad.
Yeah. He said he'd always be a failure because Julia Roberts came to Manchester and she went to United instead of City. He said that just out of nowhere, didn't he?
Well, she's taken to Instagram to hopefully set the record straight, so there we are.
She's not setting anything straight. She's just
angering you.
breaking hearts.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Well,
it's Pretty Woman all over again.
Pep Guardiola was asked.
Big mistake.
Pep Guardiola was asked about his managerial career and just how he's become such a great manager. And he said, you have good players. I had Lionel Messi in the past and Erling Haaland now. I am not joking.
Is that it? Is that the entirety of it?
Doesn't sound like he's joking. Although I think Kevin De Bruyne has been more crucial to him at Man City than Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
But we're talking about in terms of the treble. But he is the first manager to win the treble with 2 clubs. And that stat feels right. Because Guardiola, you can't say he's the greatest manager of all time because you have to go back and look at the influence with regards to great managers. But you can definitely say he's one of the greatest managers of all time.
Absolutely. I mean, I think his influence is everywhere, is it not?
Of course, but he's standing on the shoulders of giants, of course. And I think that's it. When you think about greatness, you think about who actually influenced the games. It's not just the trophies. Because if Manchester City hadn't have won that game on the weekend, it doesn't take away from Pep's greatness. It just puts an extra kind of rubber stamp on it, if you see what I mean. Because you can look at some other coaches who were phenomenal and influenced the game and changed how we think of football. And, Carlo Ancelotti, who's a great coach, but in terms of influence, it's not quite there. Yeah. He's won more than, say, Rinus Michels or something like that back in the 70s, I think it would be. Guardiola is in that great lineage of footballing managers who you can map how football has changed when his career started. And he hit the ground running, of course, in 2008 with Barcelona, wins everything, and then wins the Champions League 2 years later. We didn't think it would take 12 years, as we said earlier, but he's won it again. And, when all's said and done about the amount of money he spent and so on and so forth, he has produced a team who have played football in a way which you think they could go on with this system and win trophy after trophy after trophy. And it's really been his overthinking at times that has hindered them. But he is as close to achieving perfection on the football pitch as you'll ever see, I think, in the history of football.
Cheers for watching another fantastic clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel, which means you will not miss a single upload.